Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ta'ala. Hopefully, everything is working good. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So we're good on Facebook. I'm gonna check Instagram. We're good on YouTube. I'm gonna check Facebook. All right, mic check on Facebook. All right, mic check on. So we're good on Facebook. I'm gonna check Instagram, and then we'll get going, inshallah. So we're good on Facebook. I'm gonna check Instagram, and then. All right, so go on Instagram as well. So we'll get started, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ridwanullah family. Welcome to a new episode of the Mohamud Show. I'm your host and business coach, Hussein Mohamud, working to help you completely maximize your business in this dunya and in the akhirah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Verily, all praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, owner, and sustainer, the one who's worthy of all worship without any associates or intermediaries. And may the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the most esteemed leader and most honorable teacher, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and those who follow him until the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. And inshallah, you guys can hit me up with any of your business maximization questions at 801-471-6491. Whether you're starting off, thinking about starting off, or you're starting off running your business, growing it, or you can hit me up at 801-471-6491 with any of your business maximization questions. Once again, 801-471-6491 bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. This show is dedicated to the Muslim entrepreneurs out there. Being an entrepreneur, we have so many ideas flowing through our head constantly. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's very, very passionate, and other times it's very, very painful. But in any situation, in any case, we try to do the best that we can with it. So one of the things that I want to focus on for this episode is knowing whether you have a business or you're desperately trying to call a hobby a business and you actually have a hobby. For me personally, there's a basic definition to whether it's a business or a hobby. And obviously it's a little bit of a clear cut. Other people might have a little bit of a higher standard definition. Other people might have lower standards of definitions, but for me, I like to stay balanced with it and make it straightforward and simple. So hopefully by the end of this episode, I want you to know whether you have a business or a hobby, right? And if you have a hobby, call it a hobby. Stop calling it a business, right? And if you have a business, don't think about it as a hobby. It's not a hobby, it's a business. And take it seriously and intensely like a business, right? And if you have a hobby and you want to turn it into a business, you have to take it seriously and intensely. You know what I mean? So, that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit, diving into details with it. And if you have any particular questions regarding your business maximization journey, Feel free to hit us up at 801-471-6491. And if you could do us a favor and subscribe and follow us across the different platforms, that'll be greatly appreciated as well. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. It'll help us reach more people. Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So, if you have a business and you're thinking about your business ideas, you are in the idea phase, right? And once you start the business, you are in the starting phase. And then when you're running your business, you're in the running phase. And when you start growing it, maybe you're going to go through certain growth pains, you are in the growing phase. And depending on how far you get with the growth phase of your business, you need to exit the business, whether willingly or unwillingly, voluntarily or involuntarily. So exit looks and so exit might look like in a legacy way, in a cashing in way, in a closing down way. So there's multiple avenues of exiting, but you want to look at what particular goals are for exiting depending on the business that you want to start. So people who, honestly, there might be, let's say, the desire phase, right? You would like to start a business. That's the entrepreneur, and so that's phase number one. Then there's the idea phase. You're taking it seriously. You're thinking about the business ideas that you want to start, and then you get into the starting phase, right? You start launching the business, getting your license and registrations and everything basic that you need to get your business up and running. And anything that's blocking you from getting the money through the business, you're working on that. And you've launched the business, you're getting your first couple of sales, and you're doing the work, right? And when you start and you're running the business, then you're going to grow the business. And then last but not least, you'll be exiting. So desire, idea, starting, running, growing, exiting, right? So 6 phases of business, right? Be in different levels and seasons of each of those situations, right? So desire, idea, starting, growing, um, what did I say? Desire, idea, starting, running, growing, and exiting. So if you look at those 6 phases of your business, and depending on where you are, the size of your business and how good your business is really, really important. Now, if you don't, if you are in the desire stage, right, and you are in the idea stage, or maybe even you are potentially stuck in the starting phase, all those 3 phases or those 3 stages, um they are not going to determine whether you have a business or a hobby, right? The only time you would know for sure if you have a business or a hobby is when you start and try to sell something and try to put your business out there and really go about it, whether it's, door to door, whether it's online and or in person. Um, and that's how So the way that I know if you have a business, so let's say you went through the desire stage and you went through the idea stage and you actually started and launched your business and you gotten something going on. The way to determine whether you have a business or a hobby is this. So a business is something that makes money, at least the smallest to the most money regularly, right? And at least sufficiently. So if it's not a business that's not giving you sufficient revenue and take home and profit, income and profit, then that's still in not really an actual business, right? So you need to be able to make at least sufficient money consistently and constantly throughout the months and years. That's a business, right? a main business, I should say, that could be your main source of income and work. Now, if you have a business that makes very little to no money regularly, then that would be a hobby, right? You're making very little to no money through your business on a regular basis, month in and month out, throughout the months and years. That is going to be a hobby, right? Now, if you're making, you know, the very little to up to sufficient amount of money, technically that would be considered as a side hustle, right? And you can be doing a full-time in your side hustle because of the amount of money that you're making, right? So that would be considered a actual business, not a side business, right? So those are the three categories of business that's going to be very important for you to know, right? Because where knowing where you are will allow you to get to the different stages and phases of your business so you can make the most out of it bi'idhnillahi ta'ala and get out of the hobby phase into hopefully some sort of a side hustle and go from the side hustle phase to at least sufficient amount of business, right? Where you could quit your 9 to 5 if you're still working a 9 to 5, and you can move forward in that direction bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Or maybe you actually have a full-time business, but you're trying to launch a second business or a third business or however many businesses that you want to launch. And the first business be a legitimate business, but the second business might be a hobby or a side hustle. So, try to figure out how to, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, work towards the type of business and the amount of business that you actually want to achieve, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So, it's important for me and you to keep those things in mind and really, really take your business seriously and intensely so you can get it to at least sufficient level. Obviously, majority of us would like to have a legitimate business that's at least sufficient. But if it's a side hustle, it's still all right. You know what I mean? It's giving you somewhat of your part-time money. But if it's a hobby, it's time to pivot. It's time to look into other business ideas, business ventures, business structures, and partnerships, and really see if that's something that will be suitable for you at this particular stage, level, and seasons and drivers of your life and business, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Um, so, keep that in mind, bi'idhnillah, and see what you could do to really, really, make the most out of it with your business. And if it did if you're in the game for a short period of time and your business took off and you're doing reasonably well and you were able to hire contractors and or employees, then that's where you want to be with your business, where you're leveraging labor, right? Whether it's contractors and or full-time employees. That's the way to go, and that's the way to pursue your business ideas and ventures, right? And you know in due time, as you're continuously struggling through your business and trying to figure it out and get it together, some people might take a really long time. Some people unfortunately might never make it in business. Other people might make it in business a lot quicker, depending on how hungry and driven they are to succeed in business, right? And how much work you're willing to put in. So, those are certain things that you want to keep in mind and see how things can develop for you and your business by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, understand if you have a full time business, understand if you have a side hustle business, understand if you have a hobby, right? And really see how you can elevate through all of those things. Maybe you're just an idea away from getting to a full-time business and all the necessary work that it takes. Maybe it's something else. I don't know, but only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can tell. But if you've been dreaming about business for a long time, try different ideas until you find the thing that works for you and that fits your life in the best way possible by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you guys can hit me up at 801-471-6491 with any of your business maximization questions, and I'll try to show up on a weekly basis. As of right now, Tuesdays and Fridays, to help answer your questions bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And I think that's pretty much it. I'll be going on my first quarter Ridwanullah retreat next week. So I'll be off all next week. No content, no other work and things of that nature. And I'll be switching up my routines, going to a new city, enjoying, processing the previous quarter and getting ready for the next. And I hope that you are doing the same as well, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And that's all I got for you guys today. Please subscribe and follow us across the platforms. Jazakumullahu khair, Ridwanullah family, for tuning into a new episode of the Mohamud Show. And I'm your host and business coach, Hussein Mohamud, checking out by saying, never ever give up on completely maximizing your business in this dunya and in the akhirah. Pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.